I hope this helps, and I don't want to we don't have time for filler, but I'm going to, timeline for you. And here's 0, and you're born, and perhaps you're a beautiful baby. You're the cutest sinner that was ever born, but you're a sinner because you got your heart and your nature from Adam. Your nature was a sin nature, and at some point along the way, you come to Christ. Whether you're 17 or 40, doesn't matter. And you become a new creature in Christ. And things have happened in the past that make you brand new. And here's where I think some misconceptions, or here's where God's been speaking to me over the past couple of years. Whatever your journey looks like, it's going to be an upward it will be an upward progression as you walk with God. But it won't feel upward all the time. It'll maybe feel like this.
Like that one out.
Plagiarizing my life map.
Okay, so, but it's an upward tendency. Now here's the factor that I had not ever factored in. And here's the biggest surprise at 64 years old of my Christian life. I thought that by this point in my life, in fact, maybe if you have something to write with, write this question down. I thought that by now I would be, fill in the blank. I thought that by now I would have blank. Because you have those, that's a thought that's rolling in your minds and it's in your heart. It would be good to write that down and to answer that question, if not today, another day. I thought that by this time I would have experienced much healing and much transformation. And those are actually true. That I would be worshiping well. I would be loving well. I would understand repentance. And much of that's really true. And from that place of maturity, that I would then be able to minister, or another better, maybe that's a religious word, or a better way, from that place I could bring the kingdom of God, bring the kingdom to my world. From this place of kind of having achieved a level of maturity. What has been the biggest revelation to me is when God made me new, and when God made you new, He put those things in your heart: a battle to fight, adventure to live, beauty to rescue. But He also put in you a desperate need for God. And here's the punchline: your desperate need for God doesn't have this kind of trajectory. It has this trajectory, and it goes up to the corner of the roof, probably even higher, at a higher pitch, and it keeps going. So the distance between where you are at any given time and this desperate need for God, the old DNFG, that's a good, we all know that. DNFG is a good acronym. I've given this a name for me. I call it the ache gap. And on any given day, I get confused because I have had much healing, and I have had much transformation, and I do worship well often, and I do love well sometimes, and I do repent I'm becoming a chief repenter. And fill out the list. But there are days where none of that feels present, and I'm unaware of my need for God, and I ache. And I've misinterpreted the ache most of my life, and most of the misinterpretation has been, I'm a screw-up. Or, what's wrong with me? Or a host of other questions that you can fill in the blank on. That's a misinterpretation of this ache gap. The ache gap is saying you are a branch in search of a vine, and to just acknowledge that you have the ache and that you can take your place in the vine, who is Jesus, who is right now. And there's more than just relief in that. There's deep restoration as you begin to trust that God is at work to make you the man He is. And if you can interpret the ache as a good news, that's a good news thing, that you have the ache. If you don't have the ache, then you're medicating the hell out of your life. If you feel the ache, you go to a movie. If you feel the ache, you have a beer. You feel the ache, you have a couple of Honey Nut Muffins, or some food, some ice cream, some comfort food. None of these things are evil or wrong, but if that's all you do when you feel the ache, then you are missing out on a chance to deeply uproot yourself from anything that's flesh and root yourself deeply in the only life, which is the vine. I'm the vine, Jesus said. You are the branches. This tells you, remember that you're grafted in. Remember that you're part of me. Make your home in me. Make sense? Not make sense? Questions?